Russia sets security demands as hopes rise for Ukraine peace talks. Russia stated on Tuesday that any resolution to the conflict in Ukraine must guarantee its own security and that of Russians within Ukraine, as Kiev's allies convene to discuss potential peace talks. This comes amidst growing suggestions that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin could meet face-to-face. Hopes for a diplomatic breakthrough were significantly boosted after Zelensky and European leaders met with U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington on Monday. Trump subsequently announced he had spoken by phone with his Russian counterpart. However, Moscow swiftly warned that any solution must respect, Russia's security interests. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov emphasized that any meeting between the leaders must be prepared very thoroughly, adding that a deal must ensure the rights of Russian-speaking people who live in Ukraine. A direct meeting between Zelensky and Putin would mark their first encounter since Russia launched its full-scale invasion 3.5 years ago. The Ukraine war, which has claimed tens of thousands of lives, remains largely at a stalemate despite recent Russian advances, defying Trump's stated aim of ending it. Lavrov's comments coincided with a virtual meeting of about 30 of Kiev's allies, known as the Coalition of the Willing, which was co-hosted by France and Britain. French President Emmanuel Macron told LCI that the meeting aimed to update allies on recent decisions, and he hinted that work on setting peace talks would begin afterward, with Geneva being considered as a possible location. Macron also voiced broader European concerns about Moscow's territorial ambitions, especially regarding suggestions that Ukraine might be pressured to concede parts of the Donbas region. On the streets of Kyiv, skepticism about the latest diplomatic efforts remained pretty palpable. The main problem is Putin himself doesn't want it, Anton 32, a warehouse worker, told AFP. They can meet as many times as they want, but Putin doesn't need it and Donald Trump doesn't really know what to do. Conversely, some in Moscow expressed more optimism. "I hope we can agree on mutually beneficial terms," said Vyacheslav, 23, a government employee, adding that it would have been better if a presidential meeting had occurred at the very beginning. Trump, fresh from talks with Putin in Alaska last week, posted on Truth Social that he had called Putin to begin planning peace talks with Zelensky, envisioning a three-way summit. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, part of the European delegation, indicated Putin had agreed to a bilateral meeting within the next 2 weeks. Zelensky declared himself ready to meet Putin and on Tuesday hailed the Washington talks as a truly significant step toward ending the war and ensuring the security of Ukraine and our people. In Moscow, a Kremlin aide confirmed Putin was open to the idea of direct talks, with Lavrov noting that the United States had adopted a much deeper approach to resolving the crisis. Despite the diplomatic flurry, Trump's summit with Putin last Friday failed to yield a ceasefire. Just before Monday's talks, a Russian drone strike on an apartment block in Kharkiv killed 7 people, including 2 children. Zelensky had rushed to the White House following